Indeed.
Indeed.
Yes.
You're the Grey Warden, aren't you? Exactly who I was hoping to meet. I represent a collective of mages interested in going about their lives without the constant scrutiny of the Chantry. We harm no one, I assure you, and we enforce the Chantry's laws among ourselves. All we seek is a life outside of the Templar's shadow. Next to me, and in every major settlement, you will find an inconspicuous sack containing requests from mages all over the land who need the assistance of someone skillful and discreet. Thank you, my friend. We have agents in every major settlement to reward you for work done on behalf of the collective. Make us smile upon you.
Wow, I've never seen one of you knife-ears dressed like the King of Ferelden before. You made good for yourself, eh? Oh, I don't mean no offense. I know I shoot my mouth off. I'm just not used to your kind, trussed up all fancy. Oh, no doubt about it. You pointy ears look better in fancy clothes than us clumsy lugs. Oh, there I go again. I don't mean nothing by it. I swear I should start over. I'm mighty pleased to be making your acquaintance, sir. Don't hold your breath. No one's been allowed to cross the lake for days. I'm the ferryman. Leastwise, I used to be. Poor old Kester. Out of a job. I don't got a clue. They wouldn't tell me. Gregor just came down and said, "Don't you worry, Kester. We got it all under control, we do." Didn't say nothing else. And then he puts Carol in charge of my boat. Lissy. Named for my grandmum, she was. He's Knight Commander of the Templars up in the tower. Good man. I told you, they didn't tell me nothing. And if I know they're mages, I'm better off keeping out of their business. If I had to guess, I'd guess it had to do with magic, but the tower's always got something to do with magic. You could try swimming, but I don't recommend it. Nasty things in that lake. I reckon it's all them potions they dump in there. Gregor's told me to stay here till it blows over, but I'm telling you, some storms don't blow over easy. Maybe you could at that. I'm sure your mind's all afire now, eh? I reckon it's good for them mages. Gather them all, learn them some proper magics. I know what they say about mages, but the Maker made them for a purpose. If you can't trust him, who can you trust? Oh, I can't say that. I'm lucky he's good enough to give me the time of day. The first enchanter's all right. He's polite as can be, but he's always a little distant, if you get my drift. But Gregor'll stay to talk. I reckon he likes hearing from us common folk, you know? He's a man to be respected, that Gregor. All right, keep safe, you hear? Vashaden.
Yes.
Pah! Watered down ale, damp beds, rickety stools. Why do I even bother?
What are you?
Allow me. I
Can a
could do
man
that
drink
for
in
you.
peace?
What?
I am here. What now? Good day.
Good day, and welcome to the Spoiled Princess. Is there something I can get for you? It was my father's idea. He ran the inn before me, and he named it for my sister. She was his little princess. Princess decided the country was too dull for her and moved to Denerim. More glamorous, she said. Well, she was found murdered, robbed of all the trinkets my father bought her with his hard-earned money. My father died of shock and heartbreak. Mother stopped eating, and I got the struggling inn. The name stuck. That's the story. Of course. If there's anything I can get you, just let me know.
How very fitting that they would build a prison for mages in the middle of a lake and make it look like a giant phallus.
You're not looking to get across to the tower, are you? Because I have strict orders not to let anyone pass. Oh, you're a Grey Warden, are you? Prove it. Yes? Oh, a Grey Warden seal. Aha! So you're claiming to be one of those. You know, I have some documents, too. They say I'm the Queen of Antiva. What do you think of that? Don't question royalty. Anyway, it was nice chatting with you. Now, on your way, right now, go. Is that bad? Look, I'm, just trying to do my job. I'll take you right now, just like you wanted. Come along, I suppose.
And I want 2 men stationed within sight of the doors at all times. Do not open the doors without my express consent. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
The doors are barred. Are they keeping people out or in?
Now we wait and pray. Who are you? I explicitly told Carol not to bring anyone across the lake. We're dealing with a very delicate situation. You must leave for your own safety. I am weary of the Grey Warden's ceaseless need for men to fight the Darkspawn, but it is their right. You'll find no allies here. The Templars can spare no men, and the mages are indisposed. I shall speak plainly. The tower is no longer under our control. Abominations and demons stalk the tower's halls. The circle is lost. The tower has fallen. Creatures of the Fade can use mages to enter our world. A mage in such a spirit's clutches is changed, his flesh twisted, his mind shattered. We don't know. We saw only demons, hunting Templars and mages alike. I realized we could not defeat them and told my men to flee. I have sent word to Denerim, calling for reinforcements and the right of annulment. The right of annulment gives Templars the authority to neutralize the Mage Circle. Completely.
The mages are probably already dead. Any abominations remaining in there must be dealt with, no matter what.
This situation is dire. There is no alternative. Everything in the tower must be destroyed so it can be made safe again. If any are still alive, the Maker himself has shielded them. No one could have survived those monstrous creatures. It is too painful to hope for survivors and find nothing. A while ago, and it worries me. The Civil War has no doubt caused much turmoil. Has the Chantry been caught up in it? I can only guess. Denerim must have received our message. It cannot be much longer. I too would like to know how this started. You must face and slaughter the abominations to get to the bottom of this. Are you sure you can handle them? A word of caution. Once you cross that threshold, there is no turning back. The great doors must remain barred. I will open them for no one until I have proof that it is safe. I will only believe it is over if the first enchanter stands before me and tells me it is so. If Irving has fallen, then the circle is lost and must be destroyed. May Andraste lend you her courage, whatever you decide.
Be on your guard. They could attack at any moment.
Maker have mercy on.
So the mages are all locked within. A fitting end for those who gave up their own freedom.
Allow me. I could do that for you. I finished.
Let us go.
I'm wondering, Morrigan, do you believe in the Maker?
Certainly not. I've no primitive fear of the moon, such that I must place my faith in tales so that I may sleep at night.
But this can't all be an accident. Spirits, magic, all these wondrous things around us, both dark
Your
and
wish?
light. You know these things exist.
The fact of their existence does not presuppose an intelligent design by some absentee father figure.
So it is all random then. A happy coincidence that we are all here.
Attempting to impose order over chaos is futile. Nature is, by its very nature, chaotic.
I don't believe that. I believe we have a purpose.
It's you. No, come no further. Grey Warden or no, I will strike you down where you stand. I am a mage of the Circle. More importantly, why are you here? The Templars would not let just anyone by. And you were told that the Circle was in no shape to help you, I suppose. So why did the Templars let you in? Do they plan to attack the tower now? They sent for it then. I feared they might have. What else could they do? So Gregor thinks the Circle is beyond hope. He probably assumes we are all dead. They abandoned us to our fate. But even trapped as we are, we have survived. If they invoke the right, however, we will not be able to stand against them. Let it suffice to say that we had something of a revolt on our hands, led by a mage named Uldred. When he returned from the battle at Ostagar, he tried to take over the Circle. As you can see, it didn't work out as he had planned. I don't know what became of Uldred, but I am certain all this is his doing. I will not lose the Circle to one man's pride and stupidity. I erected a barrier over the door leading to the rest of the tower, so nothing from inside could attack the children. You will not be able to enter the tower as long as the barrier holds, but I will dispel it if you join with me to save this Circle. Yes, even if we cannot eliminate all the demons and abominations, together we could lead the survivors out. Once Gregor sees that we have made the tower safe, I trust he will tell his men to back down. He is not unreasonable. Then our path is laid out before us. We must save Irving. Petra and Kenan will watch them. If we slay all the fiends we encounter on our way, none will get by to threaten the children.
You want us to assist this preachy schoolmistress to rescue these pathetic excuses for mages? They allow themselves to be corralled like cattle, mindless. Now their masters have chosen death for them, and I say, let them have it. Look at how they live. Servants of the Chantry. They lack respect for themselves and their own power. Why should I respect them? Have it your way.
Petra, Kenan, look after the others. I will be back soon.
Wyn, are you sure you're all right? You were so badly hurt earlier. Maybe I should come along.
The others need your protection more. I will be all right. Stay here with them. Keep them safe and calm. Your confidence is refreshing, though you should make sure it does not blind you to your weaknesses. If you are ready, let us go end this.
Yes.
Indeed. look after her, will you? I don't know if she's up to this, especially not after... I just worry. I was on my way down to the library when I heard screaming, and a demon came round the corner. Its eyes were afire with evil. I was certain it was my death come upon me. I think I screamed. I was so afraid. And then Wynne was there, in front of me, shielding me. It was light and fire, blood and chaos. When it was over, the demon was dead, but Wynne wasn't moving either. I was so afraid she was... gone. As I moved to help her, she stirred and coughed. I don't know what I would have done if she had died. For me. Just look after her, all right? She might be completely fine, but then again, maybe she didn't come away from that totally unharmed. Thank you. And thank you again for helping us.
Have you ever seen an abomination?
It is good to see that some wardens survived. We are sorry for the loss of your comrades. We heard about Loghain. I would never have imagined the Terran a traitor. Wynne was at Ostagar. She told us everything upon her return. But why speak of things past? Be careful in there, and stay safe.
I don't suppose this is what you expected the Circle to be like, is it? I keep thinking this is our punishment for being mages. That's why the Templars have to do away with us.
No, don't say that. It's not true. You deserve to live just like anyone else.
Their swords are like the sword of mercy that sent Andraste back to the Maker. Andraste only died because of man's foolishness and pride. We need to atone for this. We should let the Templars come. Only then can we be cleansed of our wickedness. I will pray. May we abandon our tainted bodies to find peace with the Maker.
Just like you wanted.
Here we are. I'm somewhat amazed at myself for having kept it in place this long. It made me very weary at times, but I had to stay strong to keep us safe. Be prepared for anything. I do not know what manner of beasts lurk beyond this barrier. Are you ready? All right. Be on your guard. have victory.
Of course. It will be done, as you said.
I tried to be masterful.
Very well, as you said. Yes. It will be done, of course. It will be done. Very well. As you say, yes, of course. Very well. It will be done. As you say, of course. Very well. Yes, of course. It will be done. Very well. Of course. Yes.
Let's make this quick.
Very well. Of course. Yes, of course. It will be done. Very well. As you say. Very well. Yes, it will be done. Of course. As you say. It will be done. I am afraid not.
Say what you must.
Yes?
Please refrain from going into the stockroom. It is a mess, and I've not been able to get it into a state fit to be seen. I am called Owain, and I manage the Circle's magical stockroom. I was trying to tidy up, but there was little I could do. The stockroom is my responsibility. I must keep it clean. I tried to leave when things got quiet. That was when I encountered the barrier. Finding no other way out, I returned to work.
Owain, you should have said something. I would have opened the door for you.
The stockroom is familiar. I prefer to be here. No, I suppose I should count myself lucky. I would prefer not to die. I would prefer it if the tower returned to the way it was. Perhaps Niall will succeed and save us all. I do not know, but he came here with several others and took the litany of Adralla.
But that protects from mind domination. Is blood magic at work here?
I do not know.
Niall was in the meeting. He would know. Blood magic. I was afraid of this. We should find Niall. The litany will give us a fighting chance against any blood mages we encounter.
I wish you luck. Perhaps this will be over soon and things will return to the way they were. Goodbye. Please do not draw attention to me. I would like to remain in one piece.
What are we doing? Have you quiet, both of you?
Enemies ahead!
Keep your eyes.
Of course. Yes, as you say. It will be done. As you say. Yes. Of course.
You forced our hand!
As you say. Yes. It will be done. Of course. Very well. Yes. As you say. Very well. It will be done. Yes. Of course. It will be done. You should have fled!
Please, please don't kill me. I know I have no right to ask for mercy, but I didn't mean for this death and destruction. We were just trying to free ourselves. Aldred told us that the Circle would support Loghain, and Loghain would help us be free of the Chantry. You don't know what it was like. The Templars were watching. Always watching. We thought someone always has to take the first step. Force a change, no matter the cost.
Nothing is worth what you've done to this place.
And now Aldred's gone mad, and we are scattered, doomed to die at the hands of those who seek to right our wrongs.
What else can I do? I'm trapped here. Thank you. The Maker will surely turn his eyes on you for your mercy.
Perhaps I should begin reading since we've stopped? Yes. Yes.
Allow me. I could do that for you.
The chaos we have seen becomes more understandable from a people who can't keep their own history.
Yes. Of course, as you say. Very well. It will be done. As you say. It will be done. As you say. Of course. Very well. It will be done.
So shall it be!
Yes?
Yes. As you wish.
What now?
As you say. Of course. Very well. It will be done. Yes. As you say. It will be done. Yes. Very well. Of course. It will be done.
Are the demons gone? Is it safe? I don't want to die. If you're sure it's safe, I could take a peek outside.
Oh. Ah, yeah. Yes. I have a crick in my back and my bum's gone numb. Oh, holy maker, look at this. Those demons didn't know what hit them, did they? Godwin, Mage of the Circle of Ferelden, at your service.
There were demons everywhere, blocking my exit. I decided that the best thing to do in that situation was to hide and be very, very quiet. I just really want to be somewhere safe. I think I might stay here for now. Maybe go back into my closet for a little while. Thank you again for saving me. May we meet again in happier, less life-threatening times. Oh, it's hard to remain quiet and hidden when you keep approaching me like this. There must be more wolves approach!
As you say, of course.
Is that all you've got?
Yes, very well. It will be done. Of course, as you say. It will be done. Very well. As you say. Of course, yes.
You will not win!
Yes. It will be done. Very well. Of course.
It is done!
Allow me. I could do that for you. Just like you wanted.
Very well. Yes, it will be done. As you say. Very well. Of course, it will be done. As you say. It will be done. Very well. It will be done. As you say. Yes.
Vashaden.
It shall be as you say. Yes.
Push them back!
Of course, very well.
Nothing but excitement.
Yes.
Go down!
Yes, of course. It will be done. Very well. Yes, as you say. Of course. Yes, very well.
Atush Kunari!
Very well.
Flee while you can!
We must have victory.
I go.
As you say. Of course. Very well. As you say. It will be done. Yes, very well. Of course. As you say.
Katana Buzz!
My power is yours. It will be done. Yes, very well. Of course. Of course. Very well. It will be done. Yes. Very well. Of course. As you say. Very well. Yes, it will be done.
Go down!
As you say. It will be done. Of course. Yes. Very well. Of course. Yes. As you say. It will be done. Very well. It will be done. Of course. Yes. Very well. Of course. It will be done. As you say. Yes. It will be done. Of course. Very well. Of course. Yes. As you say. It will be done. Of course. As you say. Yes. Very well. It will be done. Yes. Of course. As you say. Very well. Of course. Yes. It will be done. Yes. Very well. As you say. Of course. Very well. Yes. It will be done. As you say. Very well. Yes. Of course. It will be done. As you say. Yes. Very well. Of course. Yes. As you say. Very well. It will be done. Of course. As you say. Yes. Of course. As you say. Very well. It will be done. Of course. As you say. Yes. As you say. Of course. It will be done. Very well. Of course.
This is annoying!
As you say. Very well. Of course. Yes. As you say. Very well. I will fight if I must. Very well. Of course. As you say. Die! Yes. It will be done. As you say. Of course. Very well. Yes. It will be done. Very well. As you say. It will be done. Yes. As you say. Yes. It will be done. Of course. Very well. As you say. Yes. Very well. Of course. As you say. It will be done. As you say. Yes. As you say. Yes. Very well. It will be done. Yes. Of course. As you say. Very well. Of course. It will be done. Of course. Yes. Very well. As you say. It will be done. Of course. Very well.
Now you fall!
As you say, it will be done. Yes, of course. Very well. As you say, it will be done. Very well.
Let us end this quickly!
Do you really wish to be beaten by an old woman?
Ha!
There.
Of course. As you say. Yes. As you say.
Nothing but excitement.
Ooh, I think a boulder dropped on me there. What now? Yes.
I cannot do that.
This is Irving's office. I half expected to find him here, but I suppose that's too much to hope for.
Can't do that. Sorry.
No, I cannot.
No, I don't think so. I don't like this place. I feel like I'm being watched. Allow me. I could do that for you. What's next?
Beware, these creatures can be unpredictable.
Very well. Of course, very well.
Enough!
It will be done. As you say. I sense unnatural foes ahead. Very well. It will be done. It will be done.
Bleeding! Bleeding badly!
As you say. Very well.
You have forced my hand!
It will be done.
Yes, of course.
Is this important?
Allow me. I could do that for you.
Yes. As you say.
Your word. So be it. As you wish. It shall be as you say. I know it is done. So be it. As you wish.
Ready.
It is done.
It shall be as you say. I go.
Yes.
I'll try to be merciful. All right, that's what it is then.
Something!
Of course.
Make a preserve!
I will not falter!
Ah, this has gone well.
Enemies ahead!
Your mistress commands! Maker's breath!
Let us end this quickly!
Shall be as you say.
Will be done. As you say.
I do not deserve this punishment.
Yes. As you wish.
This will not end well.
I do not deserve this punishment.
Now you see true power!
It will be done.
Katana buzz!
Of course.
It is done.
Die quickly!
At your command. As you say. Yes.
El Barak!
It will be done.
You will not win! Die!
As you say. Of course. Very well. Yes. As you say. It will be done.
Be gone!
Very well. As you say.
If it is a
Yes.
battle, I can give that.
Of course. As you say. Yes.
Why must
It will be
This?
done. Very well.
Nera Kadan!
Of course. It will be done.
Adequate. Death draws close.
Yes? Sorry.
There's always waiting, isn't there?
Allow me. I could do that for you. Can't do that. No, I don't think so. I finished.
It is time for supper, pet. It is time for supper.
More foes approach!
Let's make this quick! Here comes trouble! Let's end this!
Of course. Yes. As you said.
Make her preserve us!
I will fight if I must.
It will be done. Of course. It will be done.
Sorry.
Everything is just as you wanted, my knight. Our love and our family is more than you hoped for.
Do you hear something, love?
It is nothing, my darling. Just the door. I will get it. The children have finished supper. Tuck them into bed while I see who it is.
Don't be long. The children will want to kiss you goodnight.
I will be but a moment, my pet. You are intruding upon a loving, intimate moment, and I dislike disruptions. Happiness is bewitching. There is a certain power in all things mortals delight in. I have given him what he always wanted. Where is the harm in that? I saw his loneliness and longing for a family that loved him.
She's feeding off his innermost desires and taking away his will. This is unholy.
No one else would have known his heart. He did not know it himself. You do not see what I see of him. You do not know. We are partners. I give him what no one else can, and through him, I experience what it is to be mortal.
Freedom cannot be given. The Templar must choose it for himself. If you help this man, what does he learn? Nothing.
Our thoughts and spirits are melded. If one perishes, so does the other. Though much of my strength is spent maintaining this link, I am his wife and his children. He will defend me to the death if need be. I want nothing from you. I have what I need. All I ask is that you leave us alone. Perhaps we will escape. Perhaps we will not. Then you leave me no choice. Help! There are bandits at the door! They're going to murder the children!
They will not get past me!
More foes approach!
This is not good!
Doesn't end. I never liked this part.
As you say.
Flee while you can!
Of course.
Push them back!
visitors. I'd entertain you, but too much effort involved. He's just resting. Poor lad. He was so very, very weary. You want to join us, don't you? Wouldn't you like to just lay down and forget about all this? Leave it all behind.
We must stand and fight.
I'll not listen to your lies, demon. You have no power over me.
Resist. You must resist, else we are all lost.
Why do you fight? You deserve more. You deserve a rest. The world will go on without you.
I am here.
Welcome, my friend. We fought the good fight and won. Rejoice!
Ah, there you are. I'm not disturbing you, am I? Dead? Me? I have been close many times, but I never quite made it all the way. I just wanted to make sure you were happy here in Weishaupt. These grand halls were built by the first Grey Wardens. Isn't it breathtaking? Everything is as it should be. We have eradicated the Darkspawn, and the world is at peace. But now it is, for the first time in history, and you played a part in the making of that history. Do you not remember? It was a triumph for all of us, bringing down the archdemon and setting the underground lairs ablaze. Foolish child. I have given you so much and you cast it back in my face. Can you not be content with the peace I offer? It seems only war and death will satisfy you. So be it. Have your war and your darkspawn. May they be your doom.
It will be done. Of course, it will be done, as you say.
This is too much! Too much!
Very well, of course.
I must slow my pace!
Now you die! Yes, it will be done, as you say. Very well. Of course. Very well.
Foolish!
Who are you? Where did you come from? Are you a demon?
No, I see that you're not. You're like me. Congratulations on getting out of that trap. You came here with others. Then yes, they would be trapped. The demon traps everything that comes here in a dream it thinks they can't or won't try to leave. I thought I'd escaped too, but I've been wandering these empty grey spaces for a lifetime. Yes, I am. My name is Njal. I was trying to save the Circle when I encountered the Sloth Demon. I expect our experiences were similar. Litany was our weapon against the Blood Mage's domination. But it's too late. Everyone's dead. They get into your mind and take control of your body. You can't stop what they make you do. But the Litany protects against that. The Litany was our only hope of saving the Circle. But now, this place drains you of everything. Hope, feeling, life. Am I? I don't know. I know there's no way out of here. You see that pedestal there? I've studied the runes on it. Runes that signify different islands of the Sloth Demon's domain. The Sloth Demon itself is on the center island, but you can't get there. The 5 islands around the center somehow form a protective ward. I thought I was getting somewhere when I figured that out, and I went to each island in turn only to have my hopes dashed. There's always an obstacle. You'll see the path but be unable to get to it, and it taunts you and drives you mad. Not much. You couldn't say we were friends, really. Demons have their own hierarchies. They play their own games, and mortals serve as pawns, perhaps even bargaining chips. The demon keeping us here probably rules this entire section of the Fade. It'll not let us go easily, if at all. Nothing dampens your spirit, does it? I don't know whether to admire or pity you. I don't know much. I think the Sloth Demon has placed lesser demons on each of the islands. I've seen them. They take different shapes, but they're there. Defeating them may be the only way to reach the Sloth Demon. But you have to get to them first. I couldn't. I was too afraid to try. Yes. Obstacles and mad dream things. A river of flame before a portal, or a door that shows you freedom through a keyhole that no key will fit. I once found a passageway smaller than my hand with a mouse going to and fro through it. The silly thing fled before I could question it. Mice are timid creatures by nature, even mice that are really people. Almost everyone you see here is a dreamer of some sort. Each dreamer may know things another may not. The mouse could have told me what lay beyond the tiny passage, or how to get there. Even how I might make myself small like him and crawl through myself. And if one could become small enough to take one path, perhaps there are similar ways to walk the others. I don't know. There are many dreamers. You might find a way to reach them through the islands, if you're lucky. Don't mind me, then. I never thought I'd die like this. In this cold, forsaken place. Alone. Uldred is the mastermind behind it all. At Uldred's suggestion, the Circle was about to ally itself with Loghain when the Tairen's treachery was revealed. Uldred made excuses, but we were having none of it. He panicked then, tried to leave. Irving would not let him. I don't know. I don't believe we got to that part. I was barely paying attention. Such meetings are boring. The course of action usually decided before we even congregate. Uldred let loose a bolt of energy that flung us all against the far wall. That woke me up. It might have been a signal. That was when a whole group of mages poured into the chamber. And that was when I saw real blood magic in action for the first time in my life. It was like they brought the wrath of the Maker himself down upon our heads. I was just getting to that. Uldred must have also dabbled in demonology. When the fighting started, he tried to summon something, or some things. They overwhelmed him, and when his screaming stopped, Uldred was gone. I'm sure he wishes he were dead. Uldred became an abomination. And when I saw it, I ran for my life. I was in a panic. Once I calmed down, I thought about what would happen if that thing got out. I gathered some of my fellows and we obtained the litany from the stockroom. I thought if we disabled the others, we could throw everything we had at Uldred. But I saw my friends fall, one by one. And now it's my turn. Not much. You couldn't say we were friends, really. Demons have their own hierarchies. The demon keeping us here probably rules this entire section of the Fade. It'll not let us go easily, if at all. Nothing dampens your spirit, does it? I don't know whether to admire or don't. I never thought I'd die like this. In this cove. Not much. I know that it stops blood mages from taking over your mind. I don't even know who or what a Droller is. You're better off asking someone more knowledgeable. What do you think I could possibly help you with? If I can help, I will. What would you know? The cursed runes name it true. Darkspawn everywhere. I could see past the Darkspawn and the flames. There's a Templar there, almost gone. I could never reach him. The fires block the way. Over time, you can see past the lies. Past the walls, even. The more I despair, the clearer it all seems. Ironic, isn't it? The demons do so love their flame. I could hear the howls of the dreamer trapped there. Fire blocked my every path. It was truly the stuff of nightmares. But the mouse sought refuge there when I visited. He must have found paths hidden to us. Oh, I got out of there as quickly as I could. Though maybe if you could find a way to make yourself immune to the fire. What faint glimmers of hope I possessed were devoured there. Demons, monsters, and barriers of all kind. I think the demon that rules there is second only to the sloth demon in power. Well, don't mind me. I'm just sitting here waiting for the end. Don't mind me, then. I never thought I'd die like this. In this cold, forsaken place. Alone. Right. Some random stranger will be my sole companion for the rest of my short, pathetic life. Look, I'm sorry if I'm not bright and cheery. I failed the circle and I'm going to die here, and let's just change the subject. I don't want it to end like this. Do you feel it? It's getting so cold.
As you said. Yes. As you said. Of course.
You will not win!
Thank you, but too late for me. Kill Yevina, the demoness that rules here. She protects her master, Sloth. There's a door only demons can see. The key must be in another realm. Take my power. Save any others trapped in nightmares. Kill the demons that guard Sloth. Make my... Yes, as you say.
All the cursed!
Of course.
This is a waste of time! Die quickly! Clumsy!
Of course. As you say.
Yes.
It will be done. You will pay for that! Be gone!
As you say.
Of course. It will be done.
Of course.
Is that it? It will be done.
Something happened, didn't it? You look a little different. What happened? Did you? Did it help? I know I saw the tiny holes. Were you small enough to get through? I don't know. You're so much braver than I am. I was so sure it was impossible to get anywhere. Do you think you could learn other shapes? Maybe they could help you get to places you couldn't otherwise. Yes.
Enemies ahead! As you say. Very well. There is no hope for you now! Yes. Let us end this quickly! Very well. I knew we could not lose! As you say. As you say. Now you die! Of course. There is no hope for you now! Now you see true power! It will be done. Very well. It will be done. This is a waste of time!
Very well. Of course. Very well. You shall not touch me! Yes. Of course. It will be done. Now you see true power! Very well. It will be done. As you say. Very well.
It seems we must defend ourselves.
As you say. You have forced my hand! Clumsy! Yes.
Burns. You must die.
Now you see true power!
I can taste your fear, mortal!
Very well. It will be done.
Turn and run! You have no hope, Ashley!
Die!
Of course.
As you say. It will be done.
Of course.
The anger. Fading. I am free. Take Ragos' power. Use it and burn him. Burn them all. He guards Sloth. He bars the way. You must destroy the door. Other dreamers. Other powers. Only way.
Enough of this noise!
can't trust anybody.
Especially each other. So
Thank you. It is time for this dream to come to an end. I give you my strength. It will be of little use against the demon that rules here, but perhaps it will help in other realms. Find a way to kill all the demon lords to open the way to Sloth. Free us all from this nightmare!
Maker, forgive me. I failed them all. They died and I did not stop it. What about all this? How can you say that when you are faced with this? Death. Can you not see it? It's all around us. Why was I spared? If not to help them, what use is my life, now that I have failed in the task that was given me? Leave me to my grief. I shall bury their bones, scatter their ashes to the four winds, and mourn their passing till I too am dead. Your blatant disregard for the souls of the dead strikes me as being utterly inappropriate. You do not know me. You have no right to make such judgments. I do not know what this will accomplish, but I will do this, if it will satisfy you. It is difficult to focus. It feels as though something is stopping me from concentrating. I've never had so much trouble. Perhaps some time away from this place will help me think clearly.
Don't leave us, Wynne. We don't want to be alone.
Holy Maker, stay away, foul creature!
Stay, Wynne. Sleep soundly in the comforting embrace of the earth. Do not fight it. You belong here with us.
No, not yet. My task is not yet done. It is not time yet.
Come away to your rest.
Is it over? Thank the Maker for you. Wait, what's happening? Where are you going?
Darkspawn! Beware!
They're gone! You did it. You killed them. But not all. Their leaders are behind the unbreakable door. I give you my wisdom. It will let you see. And now I wake.
me if you can. I know you want to.
Why must it come to this?
Shanedan.
Who are you talking to?
Don't bother the Sten. Isn't it your turn to cook?
Cook what? There's no food in this miserable, frozen country.
Hashera, we have a guest. Make room at the fire. The same reason they call you the Warden.
We've been days in this place. There's no sign of any threat. The Arishok's report was wrong. Can we not go home?
No. Not really. This is a dream. I'm not a fool, Warden. I remember seeing the Karashok there have his head torn off.
Well, at least it's not a great loss.
You are so entertaining, Kadan. You should perform in the square with the other trained monkeys. We could throw you peanuts.
It's a dream, but it's a good dream. Revenge. What good does that do them? Their corpses will not taste it, or share in the victory.
I wish we didn't have to taste this. What is this anyway, stew?
It's bread.
Of course it is. Rational men would call this despair.
I did.
You can't abandon your post.
Stand aside. I would hate to see you all die again.
No, we won't let you leave us again.
I have silenced Yet this gives me no peace. I wish to leave this place. No, more trickery. What is happening?
Blessed art thou who exists in the sight of the Maker. Blessed art thou who seeks his forgiveness. Blessed... What? Who are you?
I beg you, do not disturb the girl's meditations.
Revered Mother, I do not know this person. I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Please do not vex her. She needs quiet and solitude to calm her mind and heal her heart.
Why are you saying these things about the revered mother? Please go away. I remember there was a sign.
Leliana, we have discussed this sign of yours. The Maker does not care to interfere in the affairs of mortals. This vision was likely the work of demons.
The Maker cares for us. I believe he misses his wayward children as much as we miss him. My vision may not be from him, but it guides me to do what is right. My revered mother knew this. I don't know who you are, but you are not her. Let us leave. My head has not yet cleared, but there is something familiar about you, and I believe I trust you.
This is your home, your refuge. Do you truly wish to leave the comfort of this place behind? Stay and know peace.
There is no need. I carry the peace of the Chantry in my heart.
You are going nowhere, girl. I will not permit it. No, she is ours, now and forever.
She was a... My head feels heavy. Like I've just woken up from a terrible nightmare. I believe we had some task to accomplish. Let us be on our way. Wait. What's happening to me?
You should have fled!
As you say.
You're back. That's not surprising. There's no way out. Every time you take a step, you think, maybe this step will take me home.
What do we have here? A rebellious minion? An escaped slave? My, but you do have some gall. But playtime is over. You all have to go back now.
You tried to keep us apart. You led us from each other because you fear us, don't you?
I am here, and it is time to finish this. I have had enough of cages.
You will not hold us, demon. We found each other in this place, and you cannot stand against us.
If you go back quietly, I'll do better this time. I'll make you much happier. Can't you think about someone other than yourself? I'm hurt. So very, very hurt. You wish to battle me? So be it. You will learn to bow to your betters, mortal.
These are vile and tainted creatures.
Let us end this. Enough.
Back! I tried to be merciful.
I will fight if I must. This is annoying.
Nera Kostun!
You should run while you can.
Your greatest nightmare.
I tried to be merciful.
Ashkos Zehisra!
And now I have to do
Defend yourself. I never liked this part. I suppose violence is a solution. Sometimes. Let's make this quick. Alright, that's all it is then.
Very well.
No more games. Face me and die.
Enough!
It will be done.
Enough! Let's end this!
Very well. Of course, it will be done. As you say. I knew we could not lose! Of course. You dare!
I'm hurt. I need help.
Yes. As you wish.
You defeated the demon. I never thought... I never expected you to free yourself. To free us both. When you return, take the litany of Adrala from my body. It will protect you from the worst of the blood magic. I cannot go with you. I have been here far too long. For you, it will have been an afternoon's nap. Your body won't have wasted away in the real world while your spirit lays in the hands of a demon. Every minute I was here, the sloth demon was feeding off of me, using my life to fuel the nightmares of this realm. There is so little of me left. I was never meant to save the circle, or survive its troubles. I am dying. It is as simple as that. Thank you, but it is too late for me. I do not fear what may come. They say we return to the Maker in death, and that isn't such a terrible thing. My only regret is that I could not save the circle. But you can. Take the litany off my body when you return. It is important. I can rest easy, knowing you will save the circle. I'm not a hero. Perhaps trying to be one was foolish. Dark times, greater acts of heroism, eh? You may be right. Before I was taken to the circle, my mother said I was meant for greatness. That I would be more than my ancestors could have ever dreamed. I hope I haven't disappointed her. It is time for us both to be on our way. Remember the litany of Adrala. The circle is all that matters now. Thank you, and goodbye, friend.
The dragon is a terrible enemy. We must tread lightly.
Of course.
I will not halt! You will not win!
I never liked this part.
I will not halt!
Just like you wanted.
This will not end well.
Yes.
Leave a strike.
I suppose violence sometimes. Allow me.
I could do that for you. No, I don't think so. I could do that for you. I finished.
Mm-hmm.
So be it. You'll make for a pathetic enemy.
You have forced my hand!
It is done.
Where shall I strike?
Ready.
Your word.
Of course. Very well. As you said. It will be done.
So shall it be!
As you said.
Yes.
What now?
What now?
Can't do that. Tell me. Him.
This trick again? I know what you are. It won't work. I will stay strong.
The boy is exhausted. And this cage, I've never seen anything like it. Rest easy. Help is here.
Ugh, enough visions. If anything in you is human, kill me now and stop this game.
He's delirious. He's been tortured and has probably been denied food and water. I can tell. Here, I have a skin of...
Don't touch me. Stay away. Filthy blood mages. Getting in my head. I will not break. I'd rather die. Silence! I'll not listen to anything you say. Now be gone! Still here. But that's always worked before. I close my eyes, but you are still here when I open them. Don't blame me for being cautious. The voices, the images, so real. Did Gregor send you? How? How did you get here? Good. Kill Aldred. Kill them all for what they've done. They caged us like animals, looked for ways to break us. I'm the only one left.
Be proud. You mastered yourself.
Be proud? What is there to be proud of? That I lived and they died? They turned some into monsters and... oh, there was nothing I could do. What others? What are you talking about?
Irving and the other mages who fought Aldred. Where are they?
They are in the harrowing chamber. The sounds coming up from there. Oh, Maker.
We must hurry. They are in grave danger, I am sure of it.
You can't save them! You don't know what they've become. They've been surrounded by blood mages whose wicked fingers snake into your mind and corrupt your thoughts. You have to end it now, before it's too late. Are you really saving anyone by taking this risk? To ensure this horror is ended, to guarantee that no abominations or blood mages live, you must kill everyone up there.
Thank you. I knew you would make a rational decision.
Rational? How is this rational? Do you understand the danger?
I know full well the dangers of magic, but killing innocents because they might be Maleficarum is not justice. I know you are angry.
You know nothing! I am thinking about the future of the Circle, of Ferelden! I am just willing to see the painful truth, which you are content to ignore. But what can I do?
What he says makes sense. Do not discard it out of hand. These mages are out of control. Perhaps.
As you can see, I am in no position to directly influence your actions, though I would love to deal with the mages myself. Don't waste time on me. Deal with Uldred. If that is what you plan to do, once he is dead, I will be freed. No one ever listens. Not until it's far too late. Maker turn his gaze on you. I hope your compassion hasn't doomed us all.
Do you accept the gift that I offer? Ah, look what we have here. An intruder. I bid you welcome. Care to join in our revels? Oh, very observant. I'm quite impressed you're still alive. Unfortunately, that must mean you killed my servants. Oh, well, they are probably better off dying in the service of their betters than living with the terrible responsibility of independence. And freeing them in the process. A mage is but the larval form of something greater. Your chantry vilifies us, calls us abominations, when we have truly reached our full potential. Look at them. The chantry has them convinced. They deny themselves the pleasure of becoming something glorious.
You're mad. There's nothing glorious about what you've become, Uldred.
Uldred? He is gone. I am Uldred, and yet not Uldred. I am more than he was. I could give you this gift to win. You and all the mages. It would be so much easier if you just accepted it. But some people can be so stubborn. And what good did that do? I still won. I even have the first enchanter on my side, don't I, Irving?
What have you done to him?
Stop him. He is building an army. He will destroy the Templars, and...
You're a sly little fox, Irving, telling on me like that. And here I thought he was starting to turn.
Never!
That's enough out of you, Irving. He'll serve me eventually, as will you. I serve no one. No, I have plans for you. Great plans. Your raw potential, with the strength of a demon behind it, would be unstoppable. I can do that. I can give you power and a new life. Fight, if you must. It will just make my victory all the sweeter.
Don't forget the litany. It will thwart Uldred's attempts to control the mages and win this fight for us.
You should have fled!
As you say.
Now you see true power!
Of course.
You will not win!
Yes. As you say.
Make her preserve us! You force our hand!
Of course.
Go on!
Yes.
Maker, I'm too old for this.
Irving, are you all right?
I've been better. But I am thankful to be alive. I suppose that is your doing, isn't it, Wynne?
I wasn't alone. I had help.
The Circle owes both of you a debt we will never be able to repay. Come. The Templars await. We shall let them know that the tower is once again ours. I'll need you to guide me down the stairs. Curse whoever insisted the Circle be housed in a tower.
Irving? Maker's breath. I did not expect to see you alive.
It is over, Gregor. Uldred is dead.
Uldred tortured these mages, hoping to break their wills and turn them into abominations. We don't know how many of them have turned.
What? Don't be ridiculous.
Of course he'll say that. He might be a blood mage. Don't you know what they did? I won't let this happen again.
I am the Knight Commander here, not you.
We will rebuild. The Circle will go on, and we will learn from this tragedy and be strengthened by it.
We have won back the tower. I will accept Irving's assurance that all is well.
But they may have demons within them, lying dormant, lying in wait.
Enough. I have already made my decision. Thank you. You have proven yourself a friend of both the Circle and the Templars. I promised you aid, but with the Circle restored, my duty is to watch the mages. They are free to help you, however. Speak to them. For now, I will have to oversee a sweep of the tower. There may be some survivors, and we should do our best to tend to them. Please excuse me. And Irving, it is good to have you back.
Ah, I'm sure we'll be at each other's throats again in no time. Here we are, the tower in disarray, the circle nearly annihilated. Oh, it could have been much, much worse. I am glad you arrived when you did. It's almost as though the Maker himself sent you. The least we can do is help you against the Darkspawn. I would hate to survive this, only to be overcome by the Blight. We will do what we can for now. But if the Blight spreads, the tower itself will be lost. Stopping the Blight is more important. You have my word. As first enchanter, the Circle will join the Grey Wardens in the fight.
Irving, I have a request. I seek leave to follow the Grey Warden.
Wynne, we need you here. The Circle needs you.
I appreciate the sentiment, Irving. But the Circle will do fine without me. The Circle has you. This man is brave and good, and capable of great things. If he will accept my help, I will help him accomplish his goals.
You were never one to stay in the tower when there was adventure to be had elsewhere.
Why stay when I can be of service elsewhere?
Then I give you leave to follow the Grey Warden, but know that you always have a place here. There is much to be done here, and I must go. You must forgive me for not being a proper host. When the time comes, we will stand beside you.
I wish I could have gone with them. To fight.
My men have scouted the tower. It's a mess, but the abominations are gone. You are very thorough. I'm impressed. In no time? Doubtful. But it doesn't hurt to be optimistic sometimes. I shan't keep you then. Farewell. My men have scouted the... You are very thorough. I'm impressed. I shan't keep you then. Farewell.
I wish I could have gone with them.
What they
To
said
fight.
about Grey Wardens is true. You proved that.
You really killed all those abominations? I didn't think it was possible. I thought we'd all die here. I'm sure you need supplies after that, don't you?
Blight? How will you end it? Is that all? It is surrounded by an ocean of darkspawn. How will you reach it? If you reach it, how will you slay it? You say you are a Grey Warden. I have heard stories of this order. Great strategists and peerless warriors. That is what we hear of the Wardens. So far, I am not impressed. Evidently not. It remains only to see what you are here for.
You are wise to invest in the effectiveness of your followers. The Circle of Magi stands ready to assist, Grey Warden, as do the Templars of the Chantry. The sincerity of your cause has drawn them together under a common banner. It would not have happened otherwise.
Yes. Speak, then. Then I suggest we move on. I am hardly surprised. To answer a question. Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer. Why do you? So if this blight were in Orlais, it could consume the land with impunity. Don't strain yourself pondering that. I do not know why the Arishok sent us. He commands and I go. A portion of it. Yes. I cannot go home. Thank you. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting. As you wish.
Yes? Well, here I am. Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think. Chantry law says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin. And it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris. Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Orlais. A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot. Avelin's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered. Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the grand melee. Aveline had already bested him in the joust, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat. The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Orlais so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier. Chantry law says it is man's pride that any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris. I know one, told to me by my mother a long time ago. It always chilled me to the bone. Maybe you have heard of Flemeth? Are you sure? Was she the Flemeth of legend? Flemeth, the devourer of men? Flemeth, mother of witches? Flemeth, demon-touched, who dwells in the mists? Ferelden mothers scare their daughters with talk of Flemeth. They say that if you're bad, Flemeth will spirit you away and bind you to her forever. They also say that Flemeth mourns her lost beauty and will steal yours through your looking glass if she catches you. Flemeth's beauty was known throughout the land. She had hair like unto a moonless night, skin as pale as winter's first snow, and eyes as beautiful and perilous as the sea. When she came of age, she came to the attention of the Lord of Highever, Conobar, and he took her for his wife. Conobar soon learned that his young bride had the gift of magic. He kept this a secret, for he feared that she would be taken from him. Flemeth stayed with Conobar for some years, and with his blessing, she practiced her art. And then one day, a young poet named Osen came to the castle. Flemeth was captivated by Osen's voice, and he by her beauty, and they fell in love. Flemeth longed to be with her true love, and she and Osen fled from Conobar's lands, seeking refuge in the Kokari wilds with the Chasing tribes. They lived there happily for many a year, till the day Flemeth received news that Conobar was dying and longed to see her face one last time. Flemeth's heart swelled with pity for the man who once was her husband, and begged Osen to return to Conobar's side with her. But when Flemeth and Osen entered Highever, they were captured by Conobar's men, and Osen was slain in front of Flemeth's eyes. Flemeth was imprisoned in the highest tower of the castle, there to await Conobar's judgment on her. Distraught at the loss of her love, Flemeth plotted revenge against her husband. She summoned a fey demon, intending for it to wreak vengeance on Conobar. But a spell went awry. The demon possessed Flemeth. Turning her into an abomination, the halls of the castle ran red with blood as Flemeth slaughtered Conobar and all his men. The last of Flemeth's humanity melted away, and at dawn, she stole back to the wilds to plot and scheme for 100 years. They say she took to her side many Chasing men, and with their help, begat her daughter witches, who even now prowl the dark places of the Kokari wilds. Which one? I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the Dales in the south and settled there in the land of their own. The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish. Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the Dales in the south and settled there in the land of their own. The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the Chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The Chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The Chantry declared a holy exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker. Alas, it was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Maferath, a chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Maferath began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Maferath made a pact with the Archon Hysarian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burned at the stake in Minrathous, the capital of Tevinter. The Tevinter Chantry claims that in Andraste's last moments, Hysarian's heart softened, and he heard the voice of the Maker telling him to end her suffering. He plunged his sword into her heart, and as her blood washed over his hands, he became one of the faithful. Dissenters said that the Archon only converted because he could not stem the tide of Andraste's cult, and was forced to do so to stay in power. We will never know for sure.
What do you need? Ask away. Oh, did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact. Well, if you're going to go and pay attention to the facts, then fine. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arleman wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough. Arleman eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me. Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet. with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Jarl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming. I think so, yes. This news we've heard about him being sick disturbs me, though. I wonder if we won't discover that Loghain has come to the same conclusion as we have. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Oh, it's been a long day. Rest would be welcome. Yes, of course. I am just a little weary. As you may have noticed, I'm no spring chicken. Ha, very funny. But in all honesty, I do not know how many years I have left in me. I have lived for such a long time, but there is always something else to do. And I have to keep going in order to do it. I think I will be glad when I am done. Oh, I don't know. I really don't. Have you encountered many abominations, apart from the ones in the Circle Tower? The first time I saw an abomination, my blood turned to ice. It was months before the nightmares stopped. It was the knowledge that I could easily become one of them that frightened me the most. One slip. All it takes is one slip, and everything you are is simply gone, replaced by madness. And there is no turning back, or at least that's what they say. Of late, I have begun to wonder if there is any way an abomination can be cured, or if a mage could be so possessed and still retain their sanity, their humanity. Yes, it is madness and cruelty that define abominations. If those are lacking, if the mage remembers the person they truly are, then they are not an abomination. I never saw that. Thank you for showing me another way of looking at it. So, tell me, how did you become a Grey Warden? Ah, I see. Do you mind if I ask what you did? I'm speechless. It never ceases to amaze me whenever I hear of such despicable acts. Regardless of what happened in your past, I am glad you found a place with the Wardens, as I'm sure you are too. Sometimes it gives me comfort to think that everything will end up the way it's supposed to, that it will be all right. You were chosen. You survived the joining when others did not. Perhaps it was meant to be. I must ask, what does being a Grey Warden mean to you? I just wanted to know what you thought being a Grey Warden was about. Ultimately, being a Grey Warden is about serving others, about serving all people, whether elves or dwarves or men. As a Grey Warden, you are a guardian of men, and you guard them because their continued existence is more important than you are. Thus it is you who serves, not they. A good king, a true king who cares for his land, uses his power to rule firmly but fairly. He serves his people first and foremost. The king who does not do this, who believes that he is entitled to his power, who abuses it and uses it for his own means, is a tyrant. If you live apart from others and your actions affect only you, then you may do as you wish. But if you have power, influence, and strength, your every action will be as a drop of water in a clear, still pond. The drop causes ripples, and ripples spread. Think of how far they will go, how wide they will become, how will they affect the pond. But I've lectured enough for today. I should stop before I wear out my welcome.
Yes? If you must. Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be? Sometimes I do wonder the very same thing. Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience. No doubt such a tale has mutated much over time and telling. I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire. As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her. Many centuries before this land was even named Ferelden. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed. The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge. Spirits first, and 'twas they who slew Conabar. Flemeth did not turn to the demon until much later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see, chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies. The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the Great War with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began. You ask if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one, and these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed, so should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too. How often is this usually? Always? If not always, then when is it not true? There are more things in this world and the next than you or I could ever hope to understand. What Flemeth became is a mystery, I suspect, even to her. The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her. I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has colored her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all. Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless. Ah, then you have my sympathies for what it is worth. Which is very little, I am certain. It matters not. Let us move on. I have a thought. Ah, such wit! Truly, you and Mother should form a troupe of jesters and tour the countryside. We have an opportunity that I believe we should take advantage of. To the point. My mother was once divested of a particular grimoire by a most annoying Templar hunter. It occurred long before I was born, but even today, Flemeth speaks of the loss with great rage. With the circle of magi in such disarray, it occurs to me that this might be the perfect time to recover the tome from their possession, for surely it eventually ended up in their hands. 'Tis a book of spells, of the sort that Flemeth has dabbled with throughout her long life. 'Tis not the sort of thing that would benefit a mage of the standard variety. They were taught a different path. I, however, was taught by my mother. I know a way around the wards my mother would have placed on such a tome. I know the language that she would have written it in. I would find such a tome most useful. Flemeth is a sorceress of legend, is she not? And her grimoire would be more than a mere curiosity to mages that daren't even glance towards the places my mother has walked for eons. No doubt 'tis considered something dangerous, perhaps best locked away somewhere dark, yes? And if not, then at least I know it does not exist. But there is no harm in looking, surely? My eternal gratitude? At the very least, it shall enable me to help you more. If that is not enough, you can certainly dictate other rewards. Good. I am most interested to see its contents, should it be located. The grimoire is leather-bound and adorned with the symbol of a leafless tree, should you come across it. If not, however, then I shall simply put it out of my mind.